On one side, Bilqis, the queen whose story is more doubt than fact, sovereign of an empire shrouded in the mists of mythology. They say the blood that ran in her veins was half human, half genius. On the other hand, Prophet Sulayman, the Prince of God, whose dominion extended beyond mortals. He commanded the fury of the wind and subdued legions of demons. This is not a tale of kings and kingdoms. It is a chronicle of a design woven from a single act of insolence, the disappearance of a small bird. An absence that sparked a search, that revealed a truth, and that would culminate in the encounter between the worship of fire and submission to the Creator. Prepare to witness the saga of how the refusal of Hudhud, his answering the summons, altered the course of history, bringing the throne of Sheba to the feet of the most powerful man who ever lived. Few female rulers have managed to transcend the cloak of history shrouded in legend as she did. Her name was Bilqis, the ruler of Sheba, whose dominion extended across vast territories, touching the southern edges of the Arabian Peninsula and reaching the African highlands. Her character was not merely that of a queen. She was a weaver of legends, an enigma etched in time. Whispers and folk tales described her with a mixture of reverence and fear. Some claimed her blood was a blend of human and spirit, suggesting a connection to the jinn. These speculations sparked profound questions in scholarly circles. Could Solomon, the Prince of God, endowed with divine powers and authority over the jinn, whom fate compelled him to command on individual missions, conceive of marrying a creature of a quasi-spiritual lineage? Traditional accounts offered little explanation for the mystery surrounding this unique queen. Yet, the thread of this grand narrative does not begin with the golden splendor of her Yemeni throne. This historic revolution began with a winged bird, the little hoopoe, endowed with a wondrous gift, the ability to decipher human language. This feathered messenger ventured beyond Solomon's borders, returning with extraordinary news from a distant kingdom. He discovered a woman of captivating beauty and sharp intellect, a queen. But the tragedy lay in her people's worship. They fervently worshipped the sun, oblivious to the oneness of God. Who could have imagined that such a small creature would become the catalyst for the spiritual transformation of a pagan queen? And who could have predicted that the hoopoe's exploratory journey would change the course of history, uniting the widest prophetic empire with the kingdom ruled by the most just king of its time? The path of this bird would link the magnificent court of Solomon, located in Jerusalem, with the magnificent palace of Bilqis, in the barren lands of Yemen. On the morning of the plan's inauguration, in the splendor of his holy fortress, Prince Solomon, peace be upon him, awoke with the first light of dawn. He paused on the balcony of his lofty palace, contemplating the immensity of his dominion, which extended to all horizons. Divine grace had bestowed upon him a sovereignty unmatched by any before or since. Solomon's empire was one of the wonders of the world, not limited to humankind, but extending to the subjugation of demons, birds, and beasts. God granted him the understanding of the language of creatures and blessed the wind, which served as his means of transportation. That morning, his huge legion of commanders was summoned for the morning inspection. Upon reaching the bird's wing, Solomon suddenly stopped advancing, and his voice, which was usually a whisper of power, echoed, asking, "Where is Hoopoe? I cannot make him out among those present." The regiment commander lowered his head and said, "O Prince of God, we have not seen you since dawn."
Sulayman's eyes narrowed with grim certainty.
How could I not see the bird?
What audacity possessed it?
I swear I will punish it with merciless torture, or execute it immediately, unless it returns with an indisputable justification. At that very moment, a hoopoe was piercing the ether of a country that he had not yet discovered with his own eyes. Driven by an urgency that overcame his fear of the king's rebuke, the hoopoe sailed on the raging winds. He traversed expanses of vibrant coastlines and shimmering mountain ranges until, on the eastern horizon, he glimpsed a city pulsating with life under the blazing midday sun. This city, a mosaic of bustling life, gleamed with the unmistakable marks of wealth and luxury. And at the heart of this imposing human settlement stood a formidable fortress. The bird landed cautiously on a nearby date palm to observe the scene. It saw a stunningly beautiful woman emerge from the fortified gates, accompanied by a retinue carrying heavy chests. On her head was a crown adorned with precious stones and Arabic motifs, while powerful warriors surrounded her, displaying golden treasures. The hoopoe approached, descending through the inner courtyards of the fortress, where he witnessed a disturbing sight. In the center of a vast royal hall, a colossal replica of the sun, crafted from the most precious metals, shone brightly. Around this idol, the court and common people prostrated themselves in worship. "Glory be to God," the bird exclaimed to himself. These people worshipped the sun instead of the one creator. The young explorer observed throughout the day. He noted that this vast region was called Sheba, and that its ruler Bilqis was renowned for her wisdom and firmly established administrative power. However, her intelligence did not lead her to true faith. She and her people remained devoted to idol worship. Meanwhile, amidst the splendor of Solomon's palace, anxiety grew. A whole day passed, and the bird remained absent. The hoopoe's shadow did not appear in the sky until the twilight of the following day. The bird entered the courtroom with a slight sway, its feathers showing signs of exhaustion. Sulayman stared at it with a stern face.